Imagine owning a business and you go to a conference and you can't even take a second to go to the bathroom, to drink some coffee, to look at your phone, because the entire time the crowd is at your booth asking and being completely in disbelief about your product. Why would they do this? Probably because you have something special that nobody else has. And that's exactly what just happened when Aduro Clean Technologies went to a conference.
Yesterday, he was in a conference, and I can tell you he could not eat his lunch or drink coffee. There was a very busy line.
As you say correctly, over you weren't there, but I haven't had 1 minute for myself.
You know what the crazy thing about Aduro is right now? Is that they have a technology that can solve $1 trillion problem. People that know, people in the industry are showing unbelievable interest, and barely anybody in the investment community knows about this company. This is a recipe for crazy investment returns. Imagine when investors find out about what this technology can do. The interest for their technology is absolutely exploding.
With regards to our customer engagement, whether it's on the plastic or the bitumen side of things, having a very robust pipeline, and I think you could tell from what Ofer and Eric are saying, the interest is tremendous.
What we have at this moment is that we have easily 10 petrochemical houses that have shown interest. There is also something very interesting that has happened in the last 3 to 4 months, and that is that we have suddenly gotten a lot of traction with waste management companies. Especially these waste management companies now realize that many of the other processes have specifications that are not able to fulfill. And let's face it, the 10 companies that I just mentioned, and that might be 12, because it goes quite quickly, they are all companies in the order of magnitude of 40 billion or plus. That's the sort of size. On the waste management company, these are not 40 billion companies, they are probably more in the up to 10 billion companies. But that's precisely what they have. We are talking to one of the largest plastic waste collectors in Germany. We're talking about one of the largest in France. We're talking to one of the largest in the Netherlands. But we're also talking to one of the largest in the United States. And they are actively working with us. And it makes me humble and modest to see that such big companies are actually interested in what we are doing.
And now here's another thing that many investors don't fully understand. We all know that the interest for NVIDIA's product, that the interest for Tesla's product is exploding. We all know this. And this is already reflected in those companies' valuations. Now, I'm not saying that those companies' valuations won't go up any further, but they are already trillion-dollar companies, which expresses the interest in their products and the popularity of their products. The alpha and the opportunity is knowing that the interest is exploding, knowing that the interest is going to create tremendous revenues and profits, and at the same time, this not being reflected in the stock price. And this is exactly what is happening in front of our eyes for Aduro Clean Technologies. Their technology can solve a plastic pollution problem. Do you know that most of the plastic ends up in a landfill or undeveloped countries because we cannot recycle it? We cannot recycle it. We can recycle very tiny percentage of plastic.
There is a lot of technologies, and it is mechanical recycling, it's chemical recycling, and there is only one big problem. They all require high quality waste. Now, it sounds a bit funny, high quality waste, but what I mean by that is relatively pure, relatively unmixed, as something that you can catch. And it is all great that you have chemical technologies and mechanical technologies, but if they are actually only able to deal with the top, say, 25% of the pile, and nobody is taking care of the bottom 75, then we haven't solved the problem. Well, that is precisely what is our difference, because we take that bottom 75, or maybe between 25 and 75, and the last bit is so rubbish that you probably have to incinerate in the end of the day. But that is what triggers people.
And Aduro's technology can take most of the plastic types and turn it back into the ingredient that the plastic was made from. You know what that is? Plastic circularity. I cannot stress enough how big of a problem this is. You see, in this world, people that get rich the most are the ones that have an ownership interest in a solution to a major problem. Aduro is a tiny company that just went IPO in November 2024. The stock is already up a little bit from the 425 IPO price. But I believe that this is nothing. This is nothing for what is about to happen when more investors find out about it. Let me give you an example of another company that's kind of similar, Nuclear. They went public around this price, and look at what happened to the stock price. 10 times since the IPO. Do they have any revenues? No. They're not going to have any revenues for about 6 to 7 years. But what do they have? They have micro nuclear reactors that can be used to generate energy. So they can be put on a truck and they can be taken to like a mining sites. They can be used to power a city with nuclear energy. So instead of building big nuclear plants, it's tiny nuclear units that can, power things. So I guess you can have one to power your house or power your village. And it's very, very similar to what Aduro is doing with plastic recycling, that, with Aduro's technology, you don't have to have these humongous centralized units, but you can have modular units for plastic recycling that a manufacturer of plastic components can have a unit at their manufacturing facility to recycle plastic waste, right? So it's modular, small units that can be deployed in very different places, whether it's for nuclear, mini nuclear reactors versus Aduro with smaller plastic recycling units. And because there is so much interest and talk about micro nuclear reactors, nuclear energy, the company's valuation is already $1 billion. And the addressable market, by the way, for those units is not even close to the addressable market of plastic recycling. And they are already $1 billion company with no revenues. No revenues in sight. And that's not a criticism. Because people look at the future. Stock market is forward-looking. So what happens when the investment community learns that Aduro solves a $1 trillion problem and their market cap is only $150 million? Actually, yesterday, I sent Aduro Clean Technologies to ARK Invest. I suggest you do the same. Go to ARK Invest, go to Contact Us page, and send them a couple paragraphs about Aduro, send them a link to my video, because they are the kind of investor that would look at Aduro and understand the disruptive technology that Aduro has and see how crazy the opportunity is. And maybe if they get enough messages from all of us, they'll pay attention. Anyway, I don't want to bore you too much, but I suggest you watch this video if you want to get a little bit more in detail information about Aduro Clean Technologies. But as of now, the most important things that you need to know is that the industry, the oil companies, are hugely interested in Aduro's technology. The investment community doesn't know it yet.
And it's very, very significant. It remains very solid. It gets better and better every day as our footprint as a company expands globally and we get out there in a meaningful way. Our engagement was partly so we solidify that pipeline, but also show our shareholders and our stakeholders that we have something special here and that's unique, right? Because they don't have the technical background to be able to quantify that. So they could see it through the eyes of who we're engaging with. So that is quite important as well as we go down this pathway.